Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John Campbell. Summer's here, and the time is right for watching a bad TV movie version of Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yes. It's
I'm not sure if those are the lyrics of the song, but I think Dancing in the Streets does refer to this.
Yes, that's always been code for watching bad TV versions of monsters, is Dancing in the Streets. Yes. We're here for this. This will be the next 2 weeks on the this week and next week on the show. We'll be talking about 1990s Phantom of the Opera from NBC. This is an NBC two-night. This aired on back-to-back nights in 1990. Movie event.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If we were not bound by the rules we have set for ourselves on this podcast, would you watch part 2?
No.
Well, no, me either.
Only out of sheer curiosity, perhaps. But no, I would not. I did not finish part 1 and went, oh, I can't wait to see what happens in part 2. Number 1.
No.
Yeah. My reaction is more, Jesus, I wonder what's going to happen in part 2. God.
I would love to see the actual viewership numbers from when it aired. I would love to see if there was a huge drop-off for night 2.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this. So this aired March 18th and 19th, 1990.
Ooh, right before my birthday.
On NBC.
I mean, we're about to talk about it, but we had hopes, didn't we? We sure did. I mean, this has got a cast of excellent actors. It has 3 excellent actors.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the 3 main actors are 3.
Because by the time we get to the Ken doll,
Philippe.
Yeah, Jesus Christ,
that guy. Now, number 1. Not Raoul for unknown reasons. I don't fully understand. As pointed out here in the trivia, Philippe is actually the name of Raoul's brother in the novel. I don't quite understand.
Right, but
why.
He is still the Comte de Chagny.
Yeah.
This is it's a weird take. Now, as we've said, the reason we're doing so many Phantoms here is because of the popularity of Lloyd Webber's musical in the late 80s. And so people were jumping on the bandwagon. So here is a liberal translation of the original novel that takes some really weird liberties. Renaming a character is the least of it. You're like, okay, that's not a big deal. But still,
man? Now, here's an interesting thing: is this film that we watched the first part of is actually based on a different musical stage version of Phantom of the Opera. This is adapting. This is based on the musical by Arthur Koppett and Maury Yeston.
So they had done a competing Phantom musical,
the idea
and NBC got the rights cheap and turned it into a TV movie.
What happened is they were working on a musical, developing it, previewing it, and then the Lloyd Webber thing came out, and they just kind of backed away, but then sold it as a TV movie on the back of that being popular.
Interesting, since this took the, probably smart tack of abandoning the idea of making it a musical. So it's strange that they would adapt a stage musical that never became a stage musical into a straight-ahead TV movie adaptation. When the source material was, I think, public domain, they could have done anything they wanted.
It was indeed public domain. That's another reason
you didn't
why
have
we get
to
so many of these
adapt a failed stage version. This is it's an odd take, and there's so many weird choices in it. We're going to talk about it.
I will say, I don't know how far into it you had this realization, Brendan, but pretty quickly I was like, what? What is?
It was very quick.
I was so baffled by instantly decisions being made.
Right. Even during the credits. That was just me going, that's bad filmmaking. No one had even spoken yet, and I'm like, this is a weird. It's lame opening.
Yeah.
But by
I'll
the
give
time
him-
the Phantom first arrives, which is very early,
Oh,
and is
yeah.
having dialogue very early, I was like, oh, this is the wrong take.
This
is
is
so wrong.
I was texting somebody as I was watching this. I just go, Charles Dance is the most casual Phantom ever committed to film.
Not only casual, but nebbishy.
Yeah.
He's a nebbish. And someone, I think he got the direction, or if it was his own choice, sorry, Mr. Dance, terrible choice, to do an American accent.
What? Yeah, what was that?
To tamp down his own British accent. And he literally sounds like this, like, well, I just don't know what to do with these people. I guess I could kill them. And I'm like, what is this?
It has. I'm watching a BBC show, and there's a clearly British actor doing an American. It's got that over exaggerated kind of American enunciation.
Yes, and it is that he's presenting the character right off the bat as being, well, he's kind of got a compatriot who recommends things he should do.
Oh, that's weird,
He's
too.
like, I just don't know. I'm just down here, and do you think I ought to do that? Well, and I'm like, that's not the Phantom.
I couldn't. I'm just watching this going like, so the Phantom is just some guy in this? He's not. There's nothing
He's
like
literally
mysterious or anything.
No,
about-
that's the main thing. That is the main problem with this, and it's not only Dance's performance, it's the whole idea. They have decided, since they're stretching the story out, because it's 2 nights, what they've decided
they got
to
room
do
to
is
breathe, man.
They have totally decided to ditch the one thing that everyone has always remembered the Phantom of the Opera for, which is the mood, the tone, the mysteriousness. This Phantom, we know him immediately. We know him immediately. We know where he lives.
Yeah.
We know he's not a ghost.
No.
I mean, part of the original story is, for a little while, you're not sure. Neither is Christine, neither is anyone in the opera house, if this is a physical person or an actual spirit. And in this thing, you have the theater owner telling the new theater owner, he says, this is a haunted theater. So right off, I'm like, okay, good. But then he says, the Phantom lives. He says lives. He goes, he lives down below. That's his chamber. Leave him alone. He just likes music. And all. I'm like, you're laying this out in the first 10 minutes of the fucking movie.
Then later you have the inspector guy going, well, obviously he creeps along the sewers of Paris, and that's how he gets from play. I'm just going like, well, wait a minute. Any sense of eeriness or atmosphere, gone. Let alone in the incredibly bland directing on top of that. Holy
my God.
shit. The directing in this is awful.
This thing looks like, okay. Now I did text you while I was watching it, and I said, I don't know what this is. It's like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Because tone is so off, and they really do go for broad comic moments here and there that look weird. And the Phantom says stupid things that sound like they're supposed to be a joke.
The biggest thing I took away, and what I was telling somebody else was, this Phantom is not really dangerous. He's just kind of a scamp.
He's kind of a scamp, and he's also, I mean, he's a couple of steps away from being like George Costanza or a Woody Allen type.
He is,
like,
nebbish
he's
is the
like,
right word for him.
If only they would leave me alone to do my music. I like Christine a lot.
I gotta say,
what am I supposed to do with all of this?
Say, I would trade this in for a legitimate Woody Allen's Phantom of the Opera any day.
Also,
I just want to put on my musical. I've been down here typing away for years.
The thing that really stuns me with this is they did spend some money. Sets gorgeous. Costumed extras. We've got a lot of them. This is they've got more than a back lot to shoot on.
Well,
but here's the problem.
Yeah,
it all looks like a TV movie.
Yeah, because
it looks like almost. It almost looks like an after-school special. The lighting on it is real flat and bright TV lighting.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So here's the crazy thing. These aren't sets. This is the first and only version of the Phantom where they filmed in the real Paris Opera House.
And the thing that cracks me up too is Speaking of the lame direction, they're shooting in the actual Paris Opera House, which is, of course, has been modernized over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene of Christine where she's mopping up and someone's talking to her, and the camera's low enough that it's catching the ceiling of the hallway, and there is a great dome electric light there.
Yes.
And I'm like going, okay.
I clocked that too.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, why don't you just show an exit sign, like a brightly lit electric exit sign? It was like, okay. But yeah, they shot in the actual Paris Opera, and looks amazing, except for it looks like they've shot a made-for-kids TV
When you talk
movie.
about right from the opening sequence, I'm going like, they've got Terry Polo walking around the real streets of Paris, but I'm going, this doesn't have any of the grandeur they think it does.
No, because again, they're shooting that for one thing, also broad daylight, which is okay. Christine's showing up in Paris.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is just, you know what you might want to do, and a lot of people do with an opening credits, you can tell a story before the dialogue starts. But
no, that's not allowed.
This is 6 minutes almost
of
opening credits where all it is shots of the outside of the Paris Opera, including lots of the gargoyles, and then shots of it's like Disney Princess Cinderella, because she's a poor gal, just an innocent gal, but she's still very clean and pretty. Terry Polo, who does not look Parisian anyway, but
we're going to talk about that because you want to talk about not Parisian. Let's talk about the most American man to ever hit the silver screen, Burt Lancaster.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically the entire credits are just that, is her walking in and going, ooh. You could have done that maybe for the first little chunk, then maybe show her knocking on doors or trying to find people, maybe have her trying to set things down or try to get a lunch and she has no money. You could do other things, but they just keep repetitively having her going, ooh.
This screams of we're a TV movie and we've got to fill a certain time.
It is TV fucking movie.
This has got to hit an exact time, so we're going to really stretch out the beginning here. So this oh boy. By the way, I'm looking up the director of this, Tony Richardson.
Your old buddy.
Tony Richardson, director of Tom Jones.
Holy shit.
I mean, that's a good movie.
Wow.
And many other things. A lot
now,
of
Tom Jones was long before this, so maybe he just was like, I don't know. What do you want? Okay.
Well, this is one of his last things. There's no question. He died the next year, actually.
Oh, dear.
But and talking about that also, Burt Lancaster in this, I'm like, no one here is long for this world, are we? Because Lancaster...
He's
looking rough here. I mean, look, I know he's an older gentleman, but also I know that even by the 80s, he's got dementia problems and he can't remember his lines and he's reading off of cue cards. So here, he's really let's just say, I mean, I love the man. Look, he's one of the great movie stars of all time, but the there's still a little bit of the charm, but the charisma's going out the window and he's looking old and sickly to me in this.
Say yes, and this look, I mean, I don't think he phoned this in.
Yeah.
But he's coasting.
Yeah.
There are a lot of reactions where he knows he doesn't have to put too much in it.
Yeah.
Plus I look at those scenes where he's like, in this one, when Philippe does show up and they're chatting like they're old friends and they go to the bar together and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there going, it just looks like Burt Lancaster has locked into a pleasant old man face.
Yeah.
And he's not really reacting to anything other than like going, well, it's good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
And then the young actor's like, I can't believe it. I'm sharing the screen with Burt Lancaster and is delivering his lines. Yeah. And Burt Lancaster's just like, I don't have to do much, do I? And even in the scene with the Phantom, where he's down in the cellar, like, Eric, you need to watch yourself. But it's just sort of like, I'm just sort of saying my lines.
Well, this is
like, okay.
This isn't a run of TV movies that will finish his career here. This same year he puts out Voyage of terror on TV. And his last screen appearance would be in Separate but Equal, the TV 2-part movie with Sidney Poitier as Thurgood Marshall. That would be his, which that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But of course his last cinematic screen appearance in The Great Field of Dreams.
Right.
But
and he did, forgive the pun, he did come to play for that movie. Gosh, what a great performance.
And also that was something I know Costner talked a lot about, like that meant a lot to him because Costner sort of, and I think rightfully so, sees himself as sort of a Burt Lancaster type. So really looked up to that guy as a guy to model his career after. So I know that meant a lot. And Costner's talked about like how much that meant to him to be able to act with Lancaster. So that's great. And he is great in that movie, which is a great movie. But yeah, that's not here. This is a couple years after that, and he's even older. And like I said, I know by this point he was using cue cards, and was not super well.
They actually left a flub in one of the scenes, but it's not major. But I think it's when he's saying goodbye to the opera company because he's been replaced.
Yes,
he stumbles over something, and but it does feel natural. It doesn't feel like, ooh, sad old actor. But I'm like, okay. I mean, it's all right. It's a naturalistic thing.
But we've also got a director nearing death and an actor nearing death doing this scene, you know? And they're like, yes, I think it was fine. Oh, dear.
So in this concept of the Phantom of the Opera, they have changed some roles around. And in this, the former head of the opera is Burt Lancaster's character. Mm-hmm. So he not only knows about the Phantom's demands, which are also, that's always a very famous thing, but clearly he's the confidant and friend of Eric. So we actually see him talking to the Phantom like, watch yourself, I'm not going to be around, and all this stuff, and da-da-da.
And I know this character is kind of in the book. And to be fair, I've never read the book. I know of it more than I've never read it. But
I mean, no, Joseph Bouquet, who's the guy in this version that gets offed right at the beginning, and you're thinking, oh, okay, the Phantom's a killer. Yeah. And then later on, he's like, I didn't really mean to kill the guy. Yeah, you actually hear him say that.
Well, it is true. He just startled him, and the guy fell backwards and died.
I was trying to spook him.
I'm not really one for the violence and such.
Oh, no, I've killed again. But anyway, in the book, the older caretakers of the company, like the woman who's the head of the dancers, and Joseph Bouquet, who's supposed to be like the big scene decorator or the guy who takes care of props, prop master, they are in on Eric, but they also fear him. So they spread the rumors of the ghost for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a buddy. He doesn't have a buddy in the book, and now they've given him this guy who's like, I'm kind of your caretaker, and I've looked after you all these years. I gave you the cool masks, and also made sure you were comfy down here.
But what they don't do, and maybe the second, like, why?
I know.
maybe part 2 will tell me. I can't figure out what.
Maybe even Burt Lancaster's character is like, you know, I do care about you, and I've wanted you to thrive, but you are so fucking ugly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you are.
Well, I mean,
I can't even look at you.
And speaking of that, let's talk about this mask he's wearing.
Uh-huh.
This is a different mask than we're used to. It's I don't know. I showed this to a friend of the show, Mike Gergoni. I was telling him we were watching this, and I showed him a picture of him in the mask. He goes, that looks like they just molded a mask on Charles Dance's face. He still just looks like Charles Dance with the mask on.
Pretty much. It is a almost full face mask that has the cutout for his mouth. Similar to Christian Bale's Batman, and of course similar to Pattinson's Batman. He clearly puts eyeliner on. I mean, he smudges the black around his eyes.
The difference is that the mask isn't black, so it's not a thing where it all bleeds into one thing. So it actually is like it's a weird choice.
Yeah, porcelain cream colored mask, which is close to his face, and they did that on purpose because twice they think it's very clever to have him have a more flamboyant mask on.
Yes.
And then he'll take that mask off, and this mask is underneath. Because this movie famously never shows us
yes.
the Phantom's all fucked up real face.
We know that even before we watch part 2. I do know that we will never actually see his face, which to me
the whole thing
is
makes me think of Airplane.
Yeah.
It makes me think of
Robert
Robert
Stack.
Stack taking off his shades and having another pair of shades on underneath.
Yeah, he's got a mask under a mask. That's so weird. Once again, This movie is so weird. I didn't hate watching it because I was so baffled by decisions that I guess maybe I would. Maybe when you asked me if I would watch part 2, maybe I would, because I was propelled by how intrigued I was by like.
But that's not the way they want to grab you.
No.
Where it's the morbid curiosity of what are they going to fuck up next?
I mean, because I gotta say, just in terms of actually telling this story, this is one of the worst versions we've seen of this.
Yeah, I mean, Phantom of the Mall is a Phantom of the Mall. At least it's a complete other thing, and it bears superficial resemblances.
I still think it actually captures more of the tone of Phantom than this does, though.
And Universal's Phantom, the second one, and of course Hammer's.
Yeah,
all of them take liberties.
Yeah.
But I'd say Universal's and Hammer's, as weird as they are, Hammer is also very liberal because they changed some stuff.
But once again,
I didn't actually kill anybody. It was the weird hunchback.
Yeah, that was
dude.
weird. But once again, the atmosphere is correct.
Yes.
The tone
the
feels right. Same thing with the Universal version, which I think is kind of sleepy and boring. It does have the handsome sheen and the kind of tragic gothicness and eeriness of it still in there. And Claude Rains is fucking great. Of course. He makes that movie watchable.
And this is just a weird misfire.
And it's a bummer.
And it does boil down to ADR too. And I sit there going,
yeah.
if you're already looking this artificial, even though you're shooting in the actual location, but you've decided to use crazy artificial lights to make it look like a flat TV movie.
I can't
if you're going to do that, at least unleash your actors.
Yeah.
At least make them not seem like they're all stylized as if, I keep bringing up like children's theater. This almost seems like they're trying to not dumb it down, but make it a little bit more palatable for people who might get too scared. Because everyone, like Christine is a Disney princess in this. She's like, I just want to, and I know Terry Polo can act. So this is weird that she's like I'm just being like this. And the Phantom is like
Charles Dance too. And
Charles Dance too.
When we were looking at doing this one, I went, "Ooh, Charles Dance is the Phantom. That should be good. He's got a gravitas. He's got kind of a darkness about him. Oh, they've eliminated
not allowed
all
to
of
be
it.
that.
Yeah, I don't blame him because I have to imagine this is how it's written and directed. By the way,
the scene when they the people have entered box 5, they opened box 5 and let people into box 5, which is his box.
Yeah.
That's in the book, it's in the musical, it's in all that, and that is like, you fucked with the wrong dude. In this version, his ghostly voice comes in and goes, pardon me, but I believe you're in the wrong box.
If you could,
and they go, what? And then he goes, I said leave now. And then they go, oh no, and they leave.
Yeah, excuse me, this is actually, if you look at your ticket, you're in the wrong seat.
Sorry to be so pedantic, but you happen to be, this would be the place where I was supposed to watch.
5. There's a sign actually outside that said reserved. Maybe you didn't see it. I'm sure that you could find another vantage point. This is my... Yeah.
I've got my... It's soda and my popcorn. This is where I was supposed to.
If you look over there, I've already put my Pepsi in the seat. For the show. It's great. Now I'm gonna have to disinfect all of this. Oh God. I'm telling you,
I'm the only mature human being who still believes in cooties.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Woody Allen's The Phantom of the Opera would be infinitely more entertaining than this.
They blow every iconic
Yes.
thing that you're waiting for in a Phantom story.
Mhm.
They blow every scene. Does the chandelier come down in this? It does.
Oh, in fact,
does
it ends part 1, isn't it? That's the big dramatic moment. Yeah.
And does it have any impact, not just on screen, but as a viewer? No.
No. Does it kill anyone? No. Not that I could see. Seemed like everybody cleared out of the way. Can I just further pitch that Mia Farrow would be Christine, of course, in the Woody Allen version, and Alan Alda would be Raoul?
It'd either be Mia Farrow or he would go for one of the younger ones. It would be like Margot Hemingway or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Mia Farrow would be Carlotta.
Yeah.
And Alan Alda would be in here, though.
Yeah, of course he would.
Yeah.
How am I can't do an Alan Alda. How am I supposed to run
it's absolutely
an opera
wonderful.
house?
Yeah, I'm trying to run this opera house, but the damn Phantom keeps getting in my way.
Too good.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in here to the movie itself and what we're looking. We already talked about the beginning, which is literally just, a beautiful Terry Polo, of course.
This is Terry Polo at like sort of the beginning. I'd seen her in like a crime thriller thing before this.
Had you seen Mystery Date with her and Ethan Hawke? Do you remember?
Yeah.
That?
Oh, yeah. That's even farther back. Yes.
This is a true story. When I was in film school, one of my instructors was the director of Mystery Date.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because I looked him up, of course. Jonathan Wax. W-A-C-K-S.
Man,
Jonathan
so you're
Wax.
only 1 degree away from Terry Polo.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And
yes, that's right. He's a South African man, and he had that accent. And it was always one of those things where he would be lecturing, and I would just go, "But you directed Mystery Date." And
probably not wise to bring that up in a condescending manner when you're talking to your
professor. He did also produce Repo Man, which is more what he had a claim for.
Oh,
yeah, he did not.
Good on him.
But he produced Repo Man, and he directed a bunch of 21 Jump Street. So,
what a weird career. That is
very strange career, and he ended up teaching film in New Mexico. So, very interesting.
There you go.
Yeah. He was director of studies in Santa Fe. There it is. That was where I went to film school.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this production did win 2 Emmy Awards. You should know this was recognized for outstanding achievement in hairstyling and art direction.
Oh, okay.
It was also nominated for makeup, music composition, and costume design.
Well, it's an honor just to be nominated.
Well, and it was nominated for 2 Golden Globes for Best Miniseries or Made for Television Movie. And
I will say this could have been handsome because it's there. The costumes are gorgeous. Hair is gorgeous. In fact, when you get to Philippe, that is the most pretty hair I've ever seen ever.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that.
And he actually flips it back like a supermodel a couple of times in this thing. He just flips his hair
next
back.
Season when we get to the Joel Schumacher one, we'll have to talk about whether he or Patrick Wilson has the prettiest hair.
Yeah, I know. So again, I understand why it would have been up for art direction, all this stuff. But the problem is that if you don't film that right, it looks lame. It's weird.
Now, to be fair, one art direction for Part 2, which we have not seen yet. No, specifically.
Okay.
But I said it was also nominated at the Golden Globes for Best Miniseries or Motion Picture Made for Television, and also Best Performance by an Actor in a Miniseries for Burt Lancaster. That's just a legacy nomination.
That's just a legacy nomination. Again, we haven't seen Part 2, but unless he really brings it. What's the point?
Feels tired to me. Like I said, he's still Burt Lancaster, but it feels like a run-down Burt Lancaster to me.
And he's really not a big character.
He's for being like they make a big deal. And Burt Lancaster.
All he does is tie different things together.
Yeah.
He's the guy who was the head of the opera house. Now he gets canned. Yeah. He was Eric's protector, so he talks to him. And apparently he was a good friend of the Comte Dejanny,
Yeah.
Dejanny, because he, has to connect him to the opera house, and then
Yeah.
that's done. And all he's doing is having these little chats, but he's not central to plot at all.
He really isn't, and I'm sure it was. I'm sure they gave him a lot of money, and I'm sure they also were like, screen legend Burt Lancaster appears in the beloved timeless classic, The Phantom of the Opera, and we'll make sure he gets a Golden Globe nomination out of it too.
Yep,
that's nice. Good for him. Like I said, love Burt Lancaster, big fan, but yikes, not his finest work here. Although not as embarrassing as some people in this thing. Jesus Christ.
What is ridiculous is as we're talking, I'm scrolling through the IMDb reviews.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous how many 10-star
people love.
This is great.
There's a huge fan base for this, and I don't understand why.
Me either. I'm scrolling trying to find someone who agrees with us.
Greatest version of Phantom ever. A great romance. Magnifique. A miracle, someone says.
Oh, well, finally, here's a 2-star one. A sad waste of a great director.
Yeah, yes.
The Phantom of the Opera, directed by Tony Richardson, with Charles Dance and Ian Richardson in it, should have been great.
Yeah.
Sadly wasn't. Yeah. See, right there, I agree with you.
Best adaptation I have ever seen. Check out this review. Best adaptation I have ever seen. Not perfectly accurate, but close, and the changes only make it better.
Holy shit, they're so wrong. They're so wrong.
Romantic, enthralling, and beautiful. The most moving interpretation of Gaston Leroux's novel that I have seen on either stage or screen.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Here's one I like a lot, a 1-star one that says, "The Phantom has left the building in 1925. Basically saying there's never been a good one since the original. Yeah, I mean, the best is still The Silent, so I'll just say that right
I
off the
agree.
Bat.
Although fans of Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical will certainly disagree, I have never found that any other Phantom movie, play, or musical is capable of stealing hearts the way this interpretation does. Jesus Christ! What are these people watching? I mean,
I have no idea.
Maybe part 2 is just so incredible in an envelope.
Yeah, okay, let's withhold. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You guys are right. We will withhold because we haven't seen part 2.
We'll go through more of those reviews next week after we've seen the whole thing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So Christine shows up at the opera, and they're like, "I'm sorry, who are you?"
Yeah, according to this story, Christine was just a wandering gal, like almost I don't want to say the word, but traveler.
Well, I mean, the way they have her too, with like the thing on her hair and the dirt on her face, it feels very like Cinderella or
she's
beginning
totally
of Sabrina.
Cinderella. She's a Disney princess.
Yeah,
but so she at some point met, or actually re-met, which we find out later, and that's actually from the book. But the Count Philippe.
It's so stupidly deployed in this movie.
Yep, and so the Count heard her singing folk song, thought she was so good and her voice is so beautiful that he has sent her to the Paris Opera with his recommendation that she get training. And so she shows up and they go, "Oh, here's the thing." She's like, "Yeah, the Count sent me," and they're like, "Oh, you're one of those." Mm-hmm. And then all the other singers, or not singers, but the chorus girls, are all like, "Oh, you know the Count too?" And they all have little lockets with his picture in it because apparently he sleeps with everybody and this is supposed to be adorable. And they're like, "Oh, you're the Count's latest one, huh?"
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. And she's like, "I don't understand. I just came here to sing."
The thing that's weird is once the Count shows up, he doesn't really seem to act like what they are.
Well, he's changing his ways
because he does smitten with Christine.
He does sit there going, "Well, I've missed all of you, ladies. It's great to see you all again.
But I
we'll
finally
definitely party,
found the gal.
But where is Christine?
Yeah,
for I really truly love her."
Yeah, I suppose he's a reformed cad in the classic sort of romantic comedy vein.
But so basically, the guy who's the sort of stage manager doorman takes pity on her because she's Terry Polo and she looks just wide-eyed and gorgeous. So he's like,
oh, I mean,
don't
you talk about Disney princess? Her big eyes that are always wide open in this movie. Really,
I know.
I was waiting for the cartoon birds to be following her.
Exactly, and the performance. Like I said, I know she's capable of other things.
Oh, we've seen her be
had
good
a long career
in several things. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, this has to have been the notes.
Yeah.
They have to have said, be an ingenue in the most cartoonish way possible.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, she has no shadings. She's just a big-eyed innocent. And the guy feels bad for her. Is like, look, I'll find you a place to bed down and maybe we can get you a job here. So hang out. And she's like, okay. And apparently she has shown up on the exact day that old Burt Lancaster, what's his character name?
His character's name is, sorry, I had Mystery Date open, which she actually did after this movie. She hadn't done much before this movie. She really hadn't done almost anything.
Oh, okay.
Gerard is his name.
Gerard. Okay, it's a day he's getting canned by the new owners of the Opera House.
I was very surprised. I'm going like, oh, it's Burt Lancaster. Oh, and he's saying goodbye. Okay, I guess Burt Lancaster's out of this thing. Because I thought he was. I thought I heard he was playing the owner of the Opera House, which he is, except for he's immediately replaced by. This is an interesting turn on the thing, right? I don't know. This is not from other stuff. I don't think. By the new owner, and his wife is Carlotta, who in this is not good.
Well, no, Carlotta was never supposed to be good. I mean, she's supposed to be a good opera singer.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying, though. In this,
she's supposed to be bad in this?
Well, I thought so, because you have the Phantom going, what is that sound?
Yeah, but I think that's the she's supposed to still be a diva.
Yeah.
But the Phantom just doesn't like her style of singing.
I guess that's it, yeah. Because
he's seeking a purity that he only hears from Christine's voice. So
once again,
in this, instead of two new owners bringing Carlotta, the Italian diva, to their opera house to boost sales, this is one new owner.
Yes.
And his co-owner and wife is also the diva. They've tried to combine these storylines.
Yeah, let's simplify this thing, man, even though we have more time.
So we have a cartoonish Italian guy as the new owner.
Yeah,
the big mustache. It's enormous.
No. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in it.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, and boy, they have him doing some physical comedy in this that will slay you.
I mean, by the way, just across the board, a lot of comedy in this thing, man.
Yep. And none of it lands. And Carlotta is, again, all of the performances are stylized to a cartoonish level.
Yeah.
No one has a character. They're all the stereotypes.
Well,
so Carlotta is literally Cruella de Vil, basically. Yeah. She comes in, I'm a big, and it's all about my ego. And it's like, yeah, who is this woman that sings better than me?
No. Which is interesting because it does feel like it's so interesting that the Weber stage play is more subtle than this.
Way more subtle. The Weber stage play, if you just read the book, as in read the lyrics in the book, that's cleverly written.
Yes.
And the characters, even just through song, are better delineated than they are in this thing that has 3 hours to do this story in. Yeah. And these are cartoon characters walking around.
It's insane. And this is Ian Richardson as the Italian guy.
I know. And, I mean...
a great actor?
We know he can do a lot better.
Can we talk about just the year before he did House of Cards? Or, yeah.
What? Are you serious? This is the year before he started it?
This is... Yes.
Holy shit.
No, it's actually the same year. They're both 1990. House of Cards.
Holy crap.
Oh, my
God. What a weird, just back and forth between two stages.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to have you come do this. And here's one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
And here's Phantom of the
By the way, if you're only familiar with the American version, go check out the British version of House of Cards because, it's a masterpiece.
It is so damn good.
It is so damn good.
There are things. I mean, I did like the American one. It shouldn't have gone on as long as it did.
For a little while, I was into it too.
But the British is better.
The British is way better. And also, because it doesn't go on very long, it's a very succinct and complete story.
Right.
That is much more satisfying.
The American problem is stretch it out past the point where it was effective.
That's a problem. We could also talk about who the leading man of that ended up being, but
here he's very big.
No. Like it's just like that's my impression of the whole movie. It's just no. Come on.
He's like and Burt Lancaster is incredibly American. Yeah. No one is is trying to be French.
No.
No one's trying to be French, but the Italians that enter this are being cartoonishly Italian.
You know what I'm realizing is it's the opera setting and that I'm just doing the guy from Citizen Kane. No.
That's exactly it.
That's what Ian Richardson's
the vocal trainer in the one scene.
That's Ian Richardson's whole performance in this movie is that guy from Citizen Kane.
And actually, same mustache.
It
is exactly.
And I'm realizing that because that's what I kept giving him was the no, and it's that guy. Yeah. Oh my God, that's how bad it is. We do see a guy. Yes, we do see the guy go down into the gears below the thing, and this guy is Carlotta's costumer because we have to open up that job for Christine.
Right, they have changed the Joseph Bouquet character. In this, he is not a long-standing opera house employee. Mm-hmm. Here, he came with Carlotta as her prop guy.
Oh no!
So she has said, I want you to go through the entire opera house and tell me all the stuff in it because I want to know what it is I've inherited. She says inherited.
And also, I need you to die, okay?
I need you to die almost immediately.
Can I say that it's a sad indictment that Joseph Bouquet is one of the only actual French actors in this thing, and he's killed almost instantly.
He goes, basically, one of the rules is you don't go underneath the stage into the down below. Mm-hmm. That's new to this because that was just made up for this. But anyway, so Joseph Bouquet's looking around, and then things start moving.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Phantom is trying to scare him.
Well, and the Phantom is wearing, I was very surprised to see this, our first look at the Phantom is him in the skull mask that we're used to seeing at the masquerade party.
Sure. Maybe he'll have a different one for the masquerade
I don't know,
party.
but I thought weird that's the first thing we see him in, and this guy's like, oh!
Yeah, he has set the winches going behind the stage, and then that opens the trap door, which Joseph Bouquet sadly tumbles backward in because he's so scared, and that kills him. So again, if this had been the Phantom just immediately offing someone, I might have been on board. But no, this was accidental.
How about he pushed him or something? No, he just goes, oh no, oh jeez.
And then the Phantom takes off his skull mask to reveal the mask underneath.
Yes, yeah. And a reaction of like, oh boy, you really stepped in it again, Eric.
Oh.
That was unfortunate.
I'm going to hear from Burt Lancaster about this.
Oh boy, he's going to be upset. By the way, the Burt Lancaster would be, oh shit, who's the guy? Why I'm blanking on his name. The guy in the Woody Allen movies who's, take it easy there, Sam, or whatever. From Annie Hall, his like cool friend, Tony.
Tony Roberts.
Tony Roberts. I kept wanting to say Tony Richardson.
Tony Roberts would be.
Tony Roberts would be the. Well, hey, okay, Eric, you got to listen here. This is the thing. You can't be going around killing costumers, man. I'm telling you.
He'd be like, come on, Max, don't do that. Why do you keep calling me Max? That's your name. He's like, yeah, it's a good name for you, Max.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
starts
Max.
calling the Phantom Max.
I was confusing
my name is Eric.
With I've expressly told you many times my name is Eric.
I think Max is a better name for you, Max.
It's more fitting of your personality. Still would much rather watch this version.
Yeah.
So he accidentally dies. The Phantom kind of feels bad about it. Oh boy, the second that a note floats down from the rafters above, and Burt Lancaster's like, "Why, it's from the Phantom."
Yep.
I was like, this was head in my hands. Oh boy.
And this is, I think, supposed to be, and it feels very arranged now that we eventually will know that Burt Lancaster and the Phantom are old buddies. So it's almost like he's like, look, when the new owners come in, you got to make sure they know you exist. So do this, make sure you drop a letter and I'll read it out loud. Yeah. That'll be their introduction to you.
Yeah. I love this, like, signed the Phantom.
Oh, what really pissed me off is that it's just so, because Burt Lancaster has an unenviable speech, which is all exposition, where he's telling the owners, is like going, this is where he says, he goes, well, he's something of a ghost. He goes, but he lives down there and does all this. And he always refers to himself as the Phantom of the Opera. And I'm like, wow, let's just put a button on all this shit.
Well, and also the idea that he's like, by the way, you're all going to call me the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Is that cool with everybody? It just,
I mean, even the musical
really
keeps the thing from
name.
the book. The musical keeps the thing from the book where he actually signs his letters OG, which is for Opera Ghost. Yes. And so which Phantom of the Opera, he doesn't actually go around
sillier,
going,
but not. It's weird.
I'm the Phantom of the Opera.
Just if you could get everyone to start calling me the Phantom of the Opera, I just think it's a very fun name for me to have.
Oh, holy shit. You know what I just realized is that that my voice is cracking, but I also realized, thank God, puberty's coming at last, but I realized that no one has done like a hip-hop version of Phantom of the Opera and called it OG.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah,
that is the most obvious thing ever.
The Phantom of the, like, Death Jam, whatever, like
Phantom of the Apollo.
Phantom of the Apollo. That's it.
Holy shit, man! OG.
How did we miss this in the 90s? God damn, this should have been like a Tupac movie.
Copyright Brendan Jones, trademark Brendan Jones. You can't have it.
Yeah,
you can't have it. And Hollywood.
You are the perfect person to write that, of course.
I really am, because I speak to that audience.
Excuse me, I speak jive. Yes. So yeah, let's see here. So they're once again doing Faust, of course, which, as we've talked about, is a weird choice for making the diva such a big part of it.
Well, here's one of the weird things about this, and just in part one, is that I think that this might be out of sequence, because they start working on Faust. Then they announce the beginning of their season, which will star Carlotta. It's her big coming out.
Right.
And it's an opera called Norma.
Yes, they did have the banners,
and then they do
Norma,
that,
and that confused me.
They do Norma, and then they say next we'll be doing Faust, but Carlotta refuses to sing in Faust because of the Phantom.
Right.
You're like, wait, Faust, Norma, then Faust?
Yeah.
Why were they rehearsing Faust before they were going to be doing it?
Yeah.
I think this is a script mess up, and no one cared. The end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they do start rehearsing Faust at this part, and Christine does get the job of being Carlotta's wardrobe assistant.
Right.
No one knows that she even sings yet.
No. I do love this. Just like, well, the other guy's been killed, so you. Like, nobody's really that broken up that the costumer got murdered.
Or just except for Carlotta, because no one knew him except for the owner and Carlotta. They brought him from Italy, I guess.
And she has nowhere to stay. How about you stay here in costume and prop storage?
But you know what I do love? And it's just weird, and it's done for, comedy, but it's like weeks later or days later, and the Phantom has kept Bouquet's body, because at one point he pops the dead body on the couch so that the owner guy sees it, Ian Richardson, and goes, "Oh no, it's a Joseph Bouquet!"
Yeah.
And he backs into a statue that knocks over, so there's comedy. And then someone comes in and is like, "What are you screaming about?" It's like, "Joseph Bouquet is in there," and then they go in, and then the body's gone. The Phantom has tricked him. But I love the fact that the Phantom's like, I'm going to keep this corpse around to pull pranks on people.
This could really come in handy for my antics.
Holy shit. Yeah, again, that's pretty sad use of Joseph Bouquet. You're going to be my prop.
Yeah.
I'm going to use you as a prop.
Yeah. I'm telling he is more prankster than anything in this. He's a little scamp.
I want him to be a psychotic genius who kills.
Yes. Not, I mean, he doesn't need to be the level of murder that Robert Englund was, although I enjoyed that. But yes, a man who, when push comes to shove, will take lives is up there for me. Should it help his own ends, that's how I see the character. Good Lord.
Or someone who is, who really does have impulse control, because they often will play him that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he is brilliant, but all of that isolation has driven him mad. So
makes sense.
He goes overboard with the killing.
This
I like
guy,
that too.
This is just a guy who seems like, you know what? I'm going to be a phantom now.
Mm-hmm. Almost like he was brought into it like that's his job.
Yeah.
Every opera needs its phantom, and your face is pretty fucked up. You want to do it?
I'll be your phantom, Burt Lancaster. It's okay. Yes,
I'll be your phantom.
My name is Eric. I'm interviewing for the job of Phantom.
Hello, Eric. What are you going to do for us today? This is a little bit from the Fantastics.
Give me a C, a bouncy C.
I'll haunt your opera house.
Yeah. I do have experience haunting a hotel previously. I felt I could move up in the world.
I've been putting in the work. I think I'm ready for an opera house haunting.
It really does feel like that. This next scene with Lancaster and the Phantom, I'm like, this is where my mouth hit the floor, and I was like, what is?
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't necessarily mind the idea that the owner of the opera house knows Eric and has been looking after him. That's not bad, but it is the tone. It's the way Charles Dance's performance here. Again, this may have been his direction, but he's doing an American accent, which makes no sense.
Yeah,
and
I'm the Phantom
he's doing
of the
it in
opera.
this. Yeah, and he's doing it in this upper register, and they've decided that the Phantom is. I keep saying nebbish, but he is. He's like. I just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, that is not the way you want your Phantom. You want him to be a supervillain who's aware of exactly what he's doing all the time.
I'm real sorry that guy fell and died.
He seems very needy and very like, I'm so glad you came down to talk. Things are not good. I killed a guy. I didn't mean to.
I need a refill on my anxiety pills. I just, well, and it's just the whole scene.
Just to even out. I just got to even out.
And Lancaster's whole thing is like, well, gee, I'm sorry I can't keep taking care of you, man. The opera got bought. I really would have liked to have handpicked my successor and prepped them to work with you, Phantom. And he's like, no, it's okay. These things happen.
This is exactly what it's like.
It really is.
People think we're doing. I mean, of course, he doesn't sound like Woody Allen.
No, but it's funny.
But it is the character. The character is at sea and needs someone to tell him what to do, which automatically makes him feel not like the Phantom.
The part that really upset me is when he goes, I don't know, maybe I'll just have to kill them. And Burt Lancaster's like, you wouldn't. He goes, no, I'm just jotting.
Exactly. He goes, maybe I'll just have to kill them both. Yeah. And Burt Lancaster goes, that's not funny. He goes, it was
a little gag, me and my antics.
I'm sorry. Me as a viewer, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry if I've offended the filmmakers by wanting my Phantom to be, I don't know, mysterious, threatening, unpredictable, in the shadows for most of this. Nope.
No, it's so funny. It's I mean, at a certain point I did start to just enjoy it as this silly thing.
Well, it could, I mean, if they had wanted to go parodic if they had wanted to make this funny.
Literally,
they could have.
If you had made it in the vein of what we're talking about and literally doing like Woody Allen Phantom.
I'm not sure I would have liked it better, but it would have been clearer what they were doing, and then I'd go, yeah, I'm not into a comedy, so I'll skip it.
Well, we wouldn't be watching it if it was that, because we don't really do parody stuff.
Yeah, we've skipped plenty of them so far.
Yeah. I do like the line where they talk about, well, wait a minute, this is rehearsal. Where's Carlotta? And the guy's like, she says she doesn't need to rehearse.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Which means that's where we start getting the implications that, hey, Christine could stand in, and plus the chorus girls complain about, they constantly hear Christine walking around humming and singing. They're like, what's with you? Why do you do all that? Do you think you're going to end up in the company? She's like, I don't know. I would love to sing on the stage someday.
Well, and then we have the scene where she's walking around picking. I also love the idea of, like, you know, we've both been in theater shows. Just this idea that people have just dropped their costumes like around the stage, and she's got to pick them up. Like
she's literally picking them up off the floor
and putting them in a laundry basket. And she's singing, and the Phantom is watching her. I'm going like, okay, here we go. He's like stalking her, but then he goes, "Excuse me, you have a beautiful voice." I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. He just comes out and goes, "Hi there."
Yes.
Hi
okay.
There.
Yeah, she's picking up on the stage, and everyone has left except for her. She's just cleaning up, and he's in the orchestra pit. And again, what you expect from the Phantom is the voice from behind the wall or behind the mirror or that kind of thing. Instead, he just stands up in his formal wear with his cloak and his mask and goes, "Pardon me, you have a wonderful voice." Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, thank you." And he's like, "You know what? You need some training, though. Yeah. Perhaps I could train you in my off time."
I'm like, there's none of the, once again, the standard mystery of her just kind of hearing this mysterious voice and it's ghostly. No, instead it's just like, "Excuse me, could I offer you some? Hello, I'm the Phantom. Nice to meet you."
You half expected him to like throw a jelly bean at her to get her attention.
Excuse me.
Oh, down here.
Yeah, sorry. Just a little
and he
Phantom
does say,
over here.
He goes, she goes, "Oh, you're a musician?" He's like, "Of a kind, and I teach people, but I haven't had students in a long time." He goes, "But if other people knew I was training you, they might get jealous. So that's why I wear this mask, so I'll be anonymous."
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck this backwards pretzel plotting. It's
the mask. It adds an air of mystery to my life.
I just have to explain it away because I'm never taking it. I'm never taking it off.
Don't ever ask me to take the mask. Yeah, that's his thing too. He goes, "I'll give you lessons just on one condition. Don't ever tell anyone."
Yeah.
Don't ever. Just, wait, who taught you? You don't know. You don't know where you get those singing lessons, okay?
Don't know if it's a guy or gal. You just don't know. You don't know.
Well, and so then he sends another note saying, "You got to get rid of Carlotta, and also I need a private box. Sign the Phantom."
Yep.
And over-the-top cartoon Italian Ian Richardson's like, "I don't understand." And Burt Lancaster's like, "Oh, he always gets box 5. That's his thing."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, not in my opera house. No phantoms."
But he does accept the warning for a bit, but opening night, of course.
Well, and you also get the thing where the once again the kindly doorman is going like, "Oh, I found you a lovely place where you could live, Christine." And she goes, "Oh no, I'm actually pretty happy here." And he goes, "Well, I'm really not supposed to let you stay." And then just the off-camera voice of the Phantom going, "Let us stay."
Listen, it's me.
Yeah.
It's Eric, the Phantom. If at all possible, could we overlook that and let it just hang out?
Maybe we could just make an exception this once. So
just one time, not a big deal, right?
Yeah. It's been so long since I've had a gal pal.
It is almost like that. Ugh. She's nice and pretty. Let it hang out.
Nice and Pretty was verging into Jerry Lewis. Like,
Yeah,
she's a nice
it's true.
lady.
Sometimes when I'm doing a Woody, if you know what I mean, it starts becoming a Jerry.
Yeah. Sometimes my Woody becomes Jerry. I'm gonna leave now. That makes sense.
I know. This is horrible. I'm sorry this ever came up.
Yeah. So, yeah, then we get the scene that we already talked about in the box where it's like, excuse me, this is my box. If you guys could, just kind of shove off, that'd be really nice.
Again, it's not threats of death. It's just sort of like, I said get out.
Yeah.
And he raises his voice for half a second, and we're supposed to be
I believe
awed.
I said to leave. Thank you. And they're like, and they react like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah. Oh dear. A disembodied voice just got harsh with us.
And earlier we did see that when she wasn't looking, the Phantom replaced Carlotta's wig. Uh-oh. What's this scamp up to now? What's he up to now?
Pranks. He doesn't kill, he pranks.
He's a prankster. Because, she comes out to sing her big number, and then her hair starts itching her. And
this is in Norma. So they do stay on this like they want you, the audience, to be laughing.
Yeah.
Because she's lip syncing, and I will say lip syncing in this is very bad. All the lip syncing of the opera scene.
It's mentioned,
but
as
she's
one
lip
of the
syncing.
goofs.
She's singing, "Oh, I'm Carlotta," but she starts scratching at her head, and the people in the audience are laughing like, "Oh no, the diva's having a meltdown."
These audiences in this movie are crazy.
Yeah, and she starts scratching, and eventually she pulls the wig off, and man, they can't get enough of that. It's also the funniest thing they've ever seen.
You see, my comedic pranks have ruined the show. Yes, it's insane. But nothing really comes of it.
No, just she's been humiliated.
But it's not till the second prank that she really gets upset.
Right.
Because instead we have to have Christine tell her whole backstory about her parents.
And we have to have the Count finally show up.
Oh, he's not here yet.
No, but he's coming.
He's coming, but instead, like I said, we get her backstory about her dead parents and stuff. I just wrote down Christine tells her backstory because I didn't even care. But so, no, the only thing that the wig thing does is it does get them to call the inspector.
Right. And because Carlotta demanded first that they fire her wig maker, and then they clear him. It wasn't his fault.
In comes Inspector Ledoux. Who is a character from the Silent movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Inspector Ledoux is a character.
I didn't know that was a carryover.
Yeah, that was created for the Lon Chaney version. And so they've borrowed that into this. Inspector Ledoux, who would be played by, of course, Michael Caine in the Woody Allen version.
Yep, exactly.
Like, well, there's a phantom around here. But no, in fact, he's like, oh, yeah. This guy's almost like, yes, my old nemesis, the Phantom.
Sure.
And because he's going like, here, yes. He lives underneath the theater, and he travels the sewers of Paris.
If Burt Lancaster knows Eric has basically been his father figure for years and years, would the Phantom have gotten up to any mischief at all? Why is he a threat? Why is he a nemesis?
Yeah.
He was just taken care of.
Yeah.
The Italian guy is the first person to really thwart any of the desires of the Phantom.
Right.
So why is the police like, oh God, we're up against him again?
Yeah, and the cops even going like, so people say he travels the sewers of Paris, hunting his victim. It's like, doing what now?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Yeah, has he killed?
Yeah.
Please tell me more. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But he's done enough to like raise the eyebrows of Paris's top inspector to be like, yes,
you know what?
The Phantom is struck again.
I think there's an implication here they're not getting into. Maybe he was okay at the opera house, and because, Lancaster's, catering to him.
Don't worry,
but
I've got this guy, okay?
But out in the city,
perhaps
the Phantom is like a serial rapist or something. Like some sort of horrible sex criminal.
No, it was a misunderstanding. I tried to pay you.
She was saying no, but her eyes were saying yes.
But eyes were saying
Eric,
yes.
That's a bad look, Eric.
Oh,
that's a bad look.
Come on.
We've all been there. No, we haven't, Eric. We have not.
Oh, please. Sunyi.
If with a face like mine, do you think I'm going to get any?
Yeah. I have to pay for it, okay. Yeah, boy, if I didn't do something with every girl who said no, I'd never get any, if you know what I mean.
It's just,
yeah,
you don't understand in this movie
nope.
Why, I mean,
but Inspector Ledoux
had some killing spree in the opera house.
Or alternatively, this inspector's real upset about pranks in the showbiz world.
This is the same Phantom who short-sheeted the great operatic tenor.
Yes, this is the same Phantom who changed the gels in those lights, I see.
Right here in my hand is the file of the whoopee cushion incident.
He struck again. What's this? An itchy wig? Yes. Classic Phantom.
Classic Phantom.
Yes. Here, another show ruined by the Phantom.
Opening night of the season in 1859. I'll never forget the flaming bag of dog poo at the front of the stage.
Once again, it's if it was just a spoof, you're right. It wouldn't be. It would only be better, and it would all cohere, because here we're supposed to be like, earlier we're like, oh, he made that woman's wig itch. That's bad, but then all of a sudden we have this inspector who's going like, dear God, the Phantom's back, and you're like,
I know.
Wait a minute. What? Now am I supposed to be worried about this guy? I can't tell.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
But this movie is not allowing the Phantom to be the Phantom, which is the big problem.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Big problem.
The biggest problem in the center of this movie, and I'm not saying other stuff is great, is the depiction of the characterization of the Phantom.
And this is by an actor we love, that we know can terrify with a stare.
Shit.
And
one of the great villain actors, really. I mean, look, it just...
So what is this?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, he had to have been directed to do this, because I've seen him in so many other things. I mean, this guy, he was just a few years before this, he was the bad guy in a childhood favorite of mine, The Golden Child.
Oh God, childhood favorite. I'm glad you put that front
Love
on it.
The Golden Child. And then soon after, another childhood favorite, Last Action Hero, he'll be the bad guy in as well.
Right, and that one I will agree with you on.
That one, that movie is underrated. I really enjoyed that movie. But yeah, I mean, a guy with a man, aside from villain roles, just has a gravitas, and his natural speaking voice is sort of. I mean, my God, this is Tywin Lannister, man.
I know.
I can't believe what I'm looking at.
So it's so strange. I was so instantly disappointed. Instantly, the second he started talking, I was like, no,
I was excited to watch this, because I thought, ooh, Charles Dance is the Phantom. Even if the production's bad, that will be good. No, did not expect he would be the central problem of this thing.
Ugh.
Yeah. So anyway, because he's about to do, it's another prank from the Phantom. Here, he super glued a champagne glass to a serving tray. Oh,
he's incorrigible, this guy.
What can I say? I love a prank. And I love this one. They cut to when she's doing it. They cut to Christine standing backstage, and even she's giggling at the Phantom got her.
I mean, I will say, in every version, you're supposed to obviously sympathize with Christine, and you're also supposed to always dislike Carlotta, because she's full of herself. She's a stereotypical diva. So she gets her comeuppance. But good Lord, here it is just this cartoon version, and well,
and I also thought this one where the glass is glued to the tray, I don't quite understand how this would ruin the scene enough that, like, she's totally thrown, the audience is laughing. It would be more like oh, that's odd. Like,
I mean, the whole thing, they're like, supposed to be able to take the glass off and toast and drink, but it's stuck to the thing.
this is insane. And they talk about that people are now coming because they think that the opera's hilarious. People are coming because to see Carlotta be embarrassed.
And again, this is humiliating.
We're sold out for the next 3 months. Whatever. And you're like, oh my God.
It has the wrong effect, Phantom. You've actually made this a very successful.
Jeez, I've turned the opera into a farce. No, this is insane.
But it is. Now, Carla, is this where she decides she's not going to sing in Faust?
Yes, this is one humiliation too many for her.
She just can't take anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not. He's glued a glass to a tray. This is the bridge too far, my friend.
That's it.
Yeah. And just as this is happening, of course, this is where we get handsome Philippe showing up. Yes, here I am, ladies.
It's amazing. I mean, okay, I this guy got work. Congratulations. But you have a cast that has Burt Lancaster.
Yeah.
You've got Charles Dance, Ian Richardson. You have Terry Polo, who, as we have to keep reminding our audience, she's good. But
she's an up and comer at this point, right?
She's an up and comer. Yeah. This guy, Adam Stork. How did he win the lottery to end up in this thing?
I don't know.
Except for you look at his career and he's had a long one. So I don't know. Maybe
he's in the Stand miniseries from '94. That's good.
Oh, that's true.
I like that.
But this is early days.
TV though. When you talk about he's had a career, lots of TV miniseries, guest appearances, which is not nothing, but it is sort of like this guy.
He started in soaps. He feels like a soaps actor.
Well, that's the thing. It's not that he's horrible as much as he is very TV in a bad way.
And he is presented here. I mean, this is where I would actually blame some of it on the makeup and they have coiffed him to an. If we're being period specific, some men, specifically some men in royalty, might have had longish hair, but this guy has 80s feathered, long, flowing hair. That's just so ridiculous.
Yes, it absolutely is.
But he is crazy handsome, and that's the deal. And he shows up like, "Hello, ladies."
Hello.
But he's also. Did Christine make it? Is she here?
He enters the picture like, "I'm the handsome leading man here." Yes. This
finally
guy
made it.
Also an American, the actor.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. I am a man from America. Oh, he's in Death Becomes Her. I love that movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is a great one.
I don't remember him in it because I'm sure he has just a small part in it, but
sure.
Still. So yeah, he shows up and he's like, yes, adoring ladies who want to get with me. Where is Christine?
Yeah.
And once again,
and then he finds out that she's just been, turned into the costume picker-upper, and he's like, "That's not what I wanted for you. You were supposed to get training. I'm going to talk to the man in charge."
Well, I love the doorman once again, who's really out of her rom-com, where he's like, "Oh, got your eyes set on that Christine, eh? Why, she seems different than the other girls you've liked. She's a real special one, sir."
Yeah, he's like going, "I'm matchmaking, even though that's not required because you're already lusting after her. So okay, I'll shut up."
Yeah, I know. I'm just going like, what this needs Peter Falk as the kindly wise doorman. Hey,
let's just keep recasting it till we get it somewhere we want it to be.
Hey, Christine's a real looker.
What do you say, huh? She's not bad.
Yeah. I keep my good eye on her. Am I right?
I keep my good eye on her.
How many things ever actually mentioned Peter Falk's missing eye? I don't think hardly any.
I really don't think a single work he ever did.
I don't remember. Like Columbo never addressed it that he had a glass eye. It was just part of the character. I don't know. So yeah. Anyway, he shows up and he immediately is like, "Oh, Christine. This is not at all what I want. I'm going to make sure you sing." So he goes, what I want you to do is come out with me tonight to the cafe where everyone sings at the cafe.
Right. And this is she has already been receiving training from the Phantom. So the thing is, I just don't like how casual this relationship of Christine and the Phantom is, because she goes back to one of the rooms or down below.
Oh,
and the
this
Phantom's
is hilarious.
Like, he's like clapping his hands. He's like going, "Oh, this is good news.
Yeah.
Oh, this is your big break, because at the cafe, everybody sings. This will work out great."
Well, and he goes,
like,
and in fact, here, I've procured this hot little dress for you, this sexy little number. I mean, he's kind of her, like, gay friend in the romantic comedy, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is wonderful. This is absolutely
going to blow them away.
Rupert Everett is the Phantom of the Opera. Oh, darling, you're going to look absolutely smashing tonight.
This is a way to go.
That would be a way to go. I would actually like that version.
Gay friend Phantom sounds great.
Well,
instead of him lusting after Christine, he becomes
underground for his homosexuality. It could actually work pretty well.
Yes,
it would be a
and he is not just her trainer; he's basically molding her like a fairy godfather.
Yeah,
I mean, like with the Cinderella story. Like, let me make you into this perfect thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I will be trying to mount this as a production, of course.
All right, I'll work on OG. You work on that. It'll be great.
You'll be doing the hip hop version. I'll be doing the gay version of the Phantom, and this will be. And once again, we are both absolutely perfect for those versions. Knowing a lot about those lifestyles and cultures.
Holy shit! It would be such a disaster, and I'm sure very well received if I tried to mount my hip hop Phantom.
Well, I think mine would have a cult fan base, is what it would be, because it's very camp.
My name is the Phantom, and I'm here to rap out in a rapping way.
I'm the scariest dude in the USA.
Jesus. Okay.
But I'm saying Lin-Manuel Miranda, maybe he could put that together. He needs another hit, doesn't he?
Let's call him up after this.
Yeah, let's call it Lin. So anyway, the Phantom says go. He gives her the dress. So they, let's see. They go. Oh, Philippe.
They go to the cafe.
They go to the cafe. Yes, exactly. And Christine gets up and starts singing, and she's amazing.
This is almost like the whole idea of everyone goes to the cafe after the shows, and everybody sings, even the workers and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like karaoke night.
It's karaoke night in the 1800s.
First, the chorus girls do like a saucy dance, and then they're like,
as saucy
"Can we
as
convince
90s network TV gets?"
Yeah, and then Christine gets up, and she is amazing, but Carlotta is like, I can't take that she's stealing some spotlight.
Right.
So she gets up, and it becomes a duet, which actually, I'm willing to bet that this aria she's doing anyway was a duet, because there are lines that go back and forth. So I'm not quite sure why Christine chose it.
It becomes a duet very easily.
Yes. But everyone is amazed at Christine's voice.
Yeah.
And everyone's like going, man, Carlotta's trying. Carlotta eventually gives up on the song, even though she's like, all right, I'm getting outshone.
Even though they actually sounded pretty good together when they were singing.
Yeah.
But it's still like she just gets smoked by Christine, man. She's destroyed.
The way they've done the vocals here of whoever is actually doing the singing is Carlotta's voice that Phantom despises is so theatrically operatic and over the top, whereas Christine's is still hitting all the things, but it's a purer voice. It's not as overwrought, and that's the big deal. So they're like, she has the voice of an angel, and they tell the head of the theater, like, you ought to put her in the company. He's like, yes. I don't know.
I'm banging the diva. No.
But he does admit she is very good, and he's like, what about putting her in Faust? And Carlotta's like, how dare you? He goes, you won't appear in Faust.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, and I also love when Carlotta goes, someone must have trained this girl.
Yeah.
Because the manager's going like, no, maybe it's just natural talent. She goes, no, someone has trained her. I'm going like, why would that be a conspiracy? Like,
I know.
We
it's
must
like,
find out who's trained her.
How dare she practice at a home?
It's so weird. Like, they don't know it's the Phantom yet they're already jumping to, she can sing well. There must be a nefarious explanation for this. Even though there isn't. Even if they know it's the Phantom, he's still not doing anything wrong. He's just teaching a girl to sing better. Good Lord. Yeah,
what is your problem with this?
This movie is in desperate need of stakes. Like,
it's in desperate need of stakes and atmosphere and all that stuff.
There's no thrills, tension, suspense of any kind. It's all just
John, I was on the edge of my seat going, well, who trained her?
Why?
Even though I'd already seen who had trained her.
Because I have done that at karaoke, by the way. I go, stop, someone has trained this woman. We specifically said no one with training.
She's too good.
I demand to know who has trained you.
Well, I did have a choir teacher in high school. Is that what
Aha! J'accuse.
J'accuse.
Yeah, we need Perot in here. This thing could, because this inspector, at least at the moment, has nothing to inspect.
Yeah, really? Again, the crimes have been itchy wig and glued wine
You're
glass.
telling me the Paris police have nothing better to do than figure out who's pranking the opera?
Except for, there was the disappearance of Joseph Bouquet and then his body showing up.
But that's not what anyone's talking about when they're talking about the crime.
I know.
I love. Yeah, the one thing that actually is a potential
actual murder.
It isn't even a murder. I don't even think it's a crime. It's just a guy fell. It was an accident.
Well, he was spooked into it.
That's it, Phantom. You're under arrest for being too spooky.
Too spooky.
Yeah, take that mask off. And the other one. We've seen this route before. 2 masks. He thinks he can put one over on us. So anyway, yes. Christine shows her up. Carlotta insists. Let's talk about now. Philippe and Christine are going to go on a lovely date. First by carriage, then by boat, and then an extended flashback.
Because this is they're awful. Having such a lovely time, and he goes, when I first heard you sing, I couldn't help but think I'd heard your voice before. And she goes, you don't remember me, do you?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? The girl in the kitchen?
Yeah.
And he's like, what the hey?
Why would he remember her? They were like 12,
They were like 12, and apparently he knew her for like an afternoon.
Yeah, I know. What possible... She obviously
apparently
made some
her dad or grandfather was the cook for the Count's family for a day before he gets accused of something or whatever and gets thrown out.
It's lame.
But he heard cute little girl Christine sing, and that's why he remembered her voice. This is kind of from the book. I mean, they kind of grew up together, and that's their childhood friends. But yeah.
But once again, that's all fine, but just the how lazily it's jammed into this movie is my problem.
And lazily stretched out this scene where you're like, oh, and also bad day for night in this thing.
Ooh,
like we're supposed to believe that they've spent all day into the night and then the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
But they start in a very blue lit afternoon and then they end in a very blue lit dawn and they look exactly the same and they're in the same. What time is it? Oh no, I have to be back at the opera. Jeez.
I also love the cut back to the Phantom sitting alone waiting for her to show up for the singing lesson being like
yeah. And again, in most of these versions you'd expect, and they often have, where she starts being pulled away by her love for the Count, the Phantom gets furious, enraged, and this is him going, "Oh, you said you'd be here."
I should have known a guy like me and a gal like her, it never would have worked.
You said we had a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I know we weren't exclusive, but I thought there was a tacit understanding.
You, me, this thing.
Yeah. I mean, what are we even doing here, Christine?
What are we even doing here?
It really.
Holy
he's
shit!
God, he's just so lame. This Phantom is just such a.
That is the problem.
I laughed so hard when it cut back to him in the chair in the entry room, and he does just go.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, everybody. Hide for cover, because the chills are coming from this Phantom softly sighing. Ooh, the spookiest character in all of literature.
You think you can handle this? You can't handle it!
I can't handle a mildly depressed Phantom.
I thought she cared. She doesn't care.
Yeah, I love a self-loathing, depressed prankster of a Phantom. Oh, jeez. So yeah.
That was too much to ask for some happiness.
And then, of course, she realizes, oh no, the time's gotten away from me. My singing lesson. And when she runs in, he's gone. And she's like, oh no, I've hurt the Phantom's feelings.
Yep.
Good God, this movie.
Yep.
And then right at the same time, this is where Carlotta confronts her and goes, I needed to know who taught you how to sing. And she's like, I can't. I promised I wouldn't say who it was.
I promised I wouldn't say.
And he goes, well, she goes, okay, I'll tell you who he is. I don't know his name or what he looks like. There.
Yeah. That's finally the answer. I'll tell you. I don't know.
That is the thing where it's like, I swore I'd never tell, but also she has no info about this guy.
I know he hangs out in the down below.
Yeah.
He wears a mask. That's about it.
Yeah. And so Carlotta's mad, but Ian Richardson comes in. He goes, great news, Christine. You're playing the lead.
Yep.
Oh, what
everything's coming up, Christine.
And the Phantom is so happy when he hears it. We skip past. He's not even upset when he's actually talking to Christine. He's just like, the lead, you say? That's wonderful.
I know. I know.
I'm so happy for you, sweetie.
I know. God, it is so weak.
I am going, like, we're clocking in on the end of this first part. I'm going, is there going to be anything even remotely horrific in this? Or
no
tense or anything? No.
I mean, if it did, it'd have to take a really hard turn, and this doesn't feel like it's gonna take.
And she goes,
any kind of hard turn.
I was singing with Carlotta. That's why I was late. That's why I wasn't able to make our last lesson. And then she stops, and I'm talking 30 seconds later. She goes, no, that's not true. I was with Philippe, and I didn't want to tell you because I thought you'd be upset. Now, what about their relationship that we've seen establishes why he would be upset that she's with another guy? They haven't really played this as romantic.
No, there have been a couple of glances, maybe.
Yeah.
And like his hand on her shoulder. No, she put a hand on his arm, and he's like, "Oh my God!"
Oh God, but human touch.
That's about it.
I long to be touched.
Yeah. So no, they're not selling us on this.
No, I don't know what. None of this works. Once again, none of the forget even the tension and stuff. None of the basic character stuff works even in this. This thing is an across the board disaster.
That's a failure, John.
Yeah. This is an across the board disaster. I can't believe there are people who think this is the best version. They're insane.
Did they always, in their heart of hearts, want a horror story with all the horror bled out of it?
There is one review. I guess I'll save it for next week. That kind of does go, you can take your bloody horror scenes, okay.
But
I'm going like, man, but it doesn't even work on any other level. It's not like, oh, because we've seen versions where I'm going like, oh, well, this is the more romantic take on it.
Right. They have decided to focus on this aspect.
And that's fine.
And,
but this doesn't really choose a route on any of it.
No.
It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't work with any tone. It has no tone. The tone's a mess.
It is toneless. Tone deaf.
And where is Burt Lancaster gone? I don't know. He's at it.
Yeah. Does he even show up by the end here? Or is he literally checked out at this point entirely?
I don't think
he's there for the chandelier.
I don't think he is. I mean, if he was, it's a quick cutaway. He has no actual scene there.
Yeah.
And so now it's opening night of Faust. And Carlotta, this is insane because I do really want to talk about just what this actual prop is. Because she goes, I bet you're a little nervous. Carlotta goes to Christine and says, I bet you're a little nervous. And Christine's like, well, yeah, a little bit. She goes, here, have a drink of this. Everybody takes it to calm the nerves. What?
Yeah, every singer does this before a show.
What does she give her?
I think it's not a laxative, but it's some sort of purging thing. I think it's supposed to make her sick to her stomach.
But that's not because, let's track this. She goes out on stage, and when she opens her mouth, no sound comes out.
Oh, no, that's right.
So I have no idea what substance this would be.
Well, there are certain like abrasive things, like lime and things like that can do that.
I mean, not to this extent, though. This is like, once again, it's a cartoon. She goes like,
yeah. She looks nauseous, and when she opens her mouth to sing, it's like, ah,
yeah. And of course, this crowd freaks the fuck out and starts throwing stuff at the stage.
I know. It's
instantly.
Like, because obviously they had touted this new discovery, and she comes out looking like an amateur who can't even get a note out. So they're like, boo.
I just want to point out that in one of the goofs on here, I did not notice that Christine's last name is misspelled on the posters for the production in the front of the theater.
Christine Daae, and they spelled it some other way.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, well.
Good stuff, production. Then that's not like a point in the movie where it's like, oh, and they've misspelled
Deep dive.
it. Yeah. We've spotted it. We got you, Phantom of the Opera.
Well, I mean, I did point out spotting the electric lights.
Well, that's pretty bad.
When the chandelier comes down, it's electric.
Yes.
And I'm like, what year is it supposed to be?
Do they say?
Actually, they didn't. But going off what they're wearing, we are not in the post-Edison light era yet.
No. Because isn't the Weber thing is like 1870? I want to say.
No, I think that's the framing device when the count is old at the very beginning and at the end.
I thought that was. That was like 1900s.
That's 1890s. Yeah, that's 1890s. Right, okay.
I thought it's like turn of the century and we go back like 30 or 40 years. So it's like 1860 to 1870, the Weber one.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here, I don't know. It's old time is what it is in this movie.
It's old time.
Good God, this movie. And so the Phantom, infuriated by the fact that the crowd doesn't. This is also even his impulse to cut the chandelier down is like, well, how dare they? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna charge backstage, where obviously is where the chandelier is tied up, backstage with all the stuff on stage. Yeah, that's where that would be tied.
In all other, this motivation could work. In all the other stories, he brings the chandelier down because they have disobeyed his orders.
Yes.
And he gave them warnings, and you're going to pay with a huge disaster. Mm-hmm. That is badass Phantom. Here, the motivation is just, how dare you make fun of Christine, which that isn't bad motivation for the Phantom.
No,
but still, they don't even film this excitingly. Most of the time, what you had is the Phantom like on the chandelier, having swung to it and then cutting it down on top of the people. Here you've got the Phantom just in the wings of the stage, sawing away at one of the ropes while people are watching him do it, like, hey, stop doing that. He's like, what, this?
Yeah.
Nope, not gonna stop. Don't do that anymore. Nope, I'm still going.
I like, here he is. He's whacking away at the rope with like a sword.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Come on.
And people have pretty much already like
yes. It
scattered.
takes long enough that everyone has run away as the chandelier comes down, so he doesn't even kill anybody here that I could tell from.
It didn't look like it,
Yeah.
which basically means that one of the most iconic scenes has also been totally defanged.
Yep.
Because all he did was, I just cost you motherfuckers a chandelier.
That's right. Good luck replacing that.
That's exactly what this scene is. So you're like, then what was the point?
That's gonna be really damaged. You guys, I'm so evil.
That's gonna cost you a pretty penny. Like, I want slaughtered people. Is that so wrong?
That's the terror of it. People crushed under the chandelier. That just a chandelier falling is not in and of itself exciting. It's the fact that it crushed people. That's what makes it a monstrous action.
Yep.
Do you think he's ever gonna kill anybody? Like in part
Again,
2?
On purpose instead of whoopsie daisy.
We might get a couple more whoopsie daisies before this thing is done. Oh, jeez.
That's another way you could do the Phantom, where he's just constantly, oops.
But no, I didn't.
He doesn't really want to kill anyone. He just accidentally keeps killing people.
Oh, jeez, it happened again.
My rep will not survive this. Oh no.
Oh no, careful! There's a bucket. Oh, jeez.
People think of me as such a bad guy.
Yeah. No, that rope is actually a little loose. Oh, God, there he goes.
Oh, they're going to blame it on me now.
Oh, a couple people died during the show. And next thing you know, it's all the Phantom's fault. And, jeez.
Should dump it on me. Why not? Everybody does. Maybe I'm responsible for that guy's heart attack. I don't know. Maybe I force-fed him all those pizzas.
I mean, honestly, I'm expecting like there to be a chase and for the inspector's gun to backfire and kill him in the end of this thing. Like, it's gonna be stupid shit. Like, somebody's gonna fall on a sword. Like, oh, God, it happened. Oh, jeez.
I just wanted to bring him in for questioning, and now he's dead.
Oh, God. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is...
Well, we have another hour and a half to deal with this thing.
Oh, thank God we're watching it in beautiful 4K restoration.
I do think it hurt it. Simply because this thing is filmed and lit so flatly that when you go to 4K, it just calls it out even more.
True.
It is bright and vibrant and looks like they shot it on video, which they didn't.
VHS quality would have given it some atmosphere.
A little grain would have helped it. Yeah, sure.
Instead I don't know who did this, but I will say most of the comments are once again like, "Thank you so much for doing this. Finally, this is preserved. Finally, I don't have to watch my VHS." It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you own this thing and you need to watch it multiple times?"
I don't get that at all. Jesus.
I don't understand. Anyway.
People who are loving on this, I want to sit down. Can we get one of them on the show? Like, just have a talk with them? We won't be mean.
No, we're gonna seriously try to understand.
Like, please explain why this works for you, because this doesn't work for me at all.
Oh, not at all. Like I said, it's not even a thing where it's like, well, differences of opinion. No, it's like objectively, this. I mean,
I can look at some sumptuous sets, but shot poorly.
Yeah.
I can look at a vibrant and beautiful young Terry Polo and just go, sigh. But I mean, that doesn't do anything for me. The Phantom looks okay.
Yeah.
Ish.
But his portrayal is so bad that it doesn't really matter.
No, because it doesn't satisfy. It doesn't give me what I want out of a Phantom.
Yeah, and that's part 1 of Phantom of the Opera. Don't watch it.
We sound just beat up.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I guess.
We'll see you next week for more.
Yeah, that is going to do it, because, I mean, I don't have much to tease, because it's next week. More of this.
Let's hope at least the next, part 2 doesn't open with just long stretches of people looking at a downed chandelier for 5 minutes.
Oh, man. That thing can't be salvaged. We're going to have to buy a whole new one. I could see it, though. No. We can't afford a new chandelier.
We can't afford a new chandelier.
Oh, jeez. This is what I get for buying my wife an opera.
This is another week in which we recommend that you just go and listen to the original Broadway cast album of Phantom of the Opera.
It always is back to that. Or I have watched the weird music video they made in the 80s with Crawford and Brightman that is very funny and very 80s.
Yeah, because they were trying on some of those musicals. They did the same thing with Chess, which wasn't Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh,
but
I do love Chess.
They were trying to cross. I do love that musical, but they were trying to cross over with the pop audience.
Yes.
So One Night in Bangkok.
Well, yeah, Chess was more successful at doing that. Just because of the music.
Murray Head, wasn't in the show, but they're like, "You're a pop star, so do this," and it did go up the charts and did have a cheesy video.
Yeah. Well, because as you know, Brendan, I get my kicks above the waist.
Well, I get my kicks above the waistline, sunshine.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, we're musical nerds, and we're disappointed in this Phantom.
Very bad Phantom. Bad Phantom. Actually, not a bad
John,
enough Phantom.
You got to shove the Phantom's nose in it, or he'll never learn.
Look what you've done. You've made a bad Phantom movie.
Bad Phantom.
Yeah.
Bad.
Worst Phantom movie. I'm standing by that. It's the one I've been. I think it's objectively the worst we've seen, at least from part one.
Yes,
because I think it really
Phantom
fails.
Of them all is fun. It's shit, but it's fun shit.
This one is just across the board. I think really fails the character and the story.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right, bad Phantom. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
Until next week, remember there are such things as monsters.
Masquerade! Painted faces on parade. Masquerade. I can't sing anymore or I'll get sued.